Welcome to Fabletown, a classic fairy tale village in the middle of forest.
Ooh, lovely. But don't forget the snow-capped mountains in the background.
A place where legends come alive.
And could we have some quaint thatched cottages over here?
And get lifted from the past life and breathe in the present.
What do you think? A pump and a water trough, maybe? Yes, a pump and a water trough.
A place where animals get dark. Well, unfortunately.
And possibly a marketplace and a carved bench under the shade of an apple tree opposite a sweet window shop full of strawberry creams and lemon drops?
And all disbelief is suspended.
That's true. Tesco's have a pizza meal deal for £6.
A pizza and dinner for £6? Come on, guys. Come on now. No worrying. Nay, I forgot my nose bag, so that's the meal deal before there's a bit queue. Can I get you anything?
I'll just have the pond we call quack and some corn.
Quacker.
Thanks.
Hold your horses. It's not lunchtime yet. We protest march to the forest. Oh, darn it. I'll trot off later.
Those herbivores, all they can think about is their lunch. I thought we were supposed to be the hungry ones. We'll soon ruin their appetites.
Hey, you namby-bamby herbivores, have a bit of meat on your pizza.
Bear, phrase, chick.
Nick, you know this new flavor called
Duck l'orange.
Settle down now, no shouting or growling.
Come on, guys, we're gonna film.
What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
Time we knew the how to.
Time we knew the how truth.
What do we want?
Is it?
Wolf rights!
When do we want
Time
them?
is it, Mr. Wolf?
How do we want the
Wolf rights!
When do we want them?
Now!
What do we want?
Wolf rights!
When do we want them?
What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
What do we want?
Wolf rights!
When do we want them?
How truth.
Good morning and welcome to the Fabletown News. We are outside the Fabletown courtrooms as the long-awaited case against Mr. Wolf is about to begin.
Tensions are running high here as protesters for both the prosecution and defense make their voices heard.
Indeed, Mr. Wolf arrived here earlier and for his own safety he had a police escort.
Actually, it was a Range Rover, not an escort.
It doesn't matter. This is a specially extended program. We will be bringing the news live from the courthouse.
This case is attracting a lot of attention and the public gallery is packed. Not only because there are strong opinions on both sides, but because the famous judge, Lord Feathers of Ivytown, will be overseeing the case.
Despite his name, Lord Featherton is no lightweight and of course no soft. He has a reputation of being very stern. I understand he is entering the courtrooms and the case against Mr. Wolf is about to begin. All rise.
All rise for the judge and doff your cap to the conscience of this habitat. Show your respect to the power to determine the fate of this wolf. You must listen carefully and make well-informed decisions, for this is a task you must not take lightly. And remember what Spider-Man once famously said, "With great power comes great responsibility. Use it well."
The Forest Court is now in session to hear the case against Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf, will you please take the stand?
Mr. Wolf, you're here today to answer to the following charges. Number 1, you are accused of plotting to deceive a Miss Red Riding Hood. Number 2, assuming a false identity as Miss Hood's grandma.
Poor old lady.
Number 3, willful damage and illegal entry into the properties of the 3 little pigs. Disgraceful. And most horrible of all, you have sought to terrorize and murder at will within our forest community.
Send him down! Shall I see that? Hashtag send him down! Brother Rain, this is no time to talk! Ha! No time to talk!
If you have quite finished.
Sorry!
Mr. Wolf, how do you plead?
Not guilty. Mr. Wolf, who shall be representing you in this matter?
I shall be conducting my own defense with the assistance of my co-counsel, Mrs. Wolf.
So be it. And the counsel for the prosecution?
Your Honor, my name is Mann, Hugh Mann, and this is my assistant just in case.
Yeah, we've got this case in the bag, I hope.
Thank you. Please proceed with the evidence for the prosecution.
Members of the jury, you see before you the most despicable of killers, a clever creature who intimidates and kills without scruple. It has been very difficult to catch this rogue until today. At last, we have sufficient evidence to prove to you that this beast, this animal, this wolf is a serial killer.
A serial killer? Ah!
Thank you. And what is the nature of this evidence?
My lord, for many months we have had Mr. Wolf under close surveillance. We have had a forced secret agent on the job. A mole, an English mole, Mr. Johnny Mole.
A secret agent?
Calling Mr. Mole.
Calling Mr. Mole's secret agent!
Calling Mr. Mole. What?
Calling Mr. Mole. Well, he's not very secret now, is he? Mr. Mole. Mr. Mole. Do you swear to tell the truth? The whole truth, and where are you? Nothing but the truth according to forest law? I do.
Mr. Mole, Mr. Mole, could you tell the court about the evidence you collected?
Well, I've been digging around and I've unearthed a lot of information. It's what we moles do. I might be.
Well, what an exciting life you led as an undercover agent. You haven't, however, told us the nature of your evidence against me. For all your networking and code breaking and clue making, did you actually find anything out?
I am bound by the Official Secret Act. I only report to M.
M? This is ridiculous. I believe you have no evidence at all. How can a creature well known for having bad eyesight be a reliable witness? Those shades are not a disguise. You are as blind as a bat. You are just making a mountain out of molehill. Objection, Your Honor! Mr. Wolf is being molest.
Sustained. Mr. Wolf, kindly refrain from making jokes at Mr. Mole's expense.
Mr. Mole, perhaps you might like to report the clandestine meetings to me in front of the whole court, since I did in fact employ Mole. And am, of course, M for man. I might have known.
Well, I've installed secret cameras throughout the forest to record evidence against Mr. Wolf. Ah, here they are, the bugs. Last Tuesday, a wolf who fits the description of the accused was seen to be giving a gingerbread man a ride across the river. And we all know what happened to that gingerbread man.
Yeah, Foxy!
What? And these local informers tell me that even the bears are having problems with their porridge.
Ooh, really?
Oh, yes! They keep having their morning porridge stolen 3 times a day! They're convinced it's a little golden-haired girl, but no, of course not. The culprit has got to be a large, hairy creature with a ravenous appetite.
Your Honor, may I reply to these accusations?
You may.
Well, firstly, the so-called wolf taking the gingerbread man across the river was actually a fox. Everyone knows that story.
They're on to us.
And secondly, I don't like porridge. I would, however, like to know more about these so-called agents that Mo used to collect this so-called evidence.
I agree. Agents, please introduce yourselves.
The name's Bond, Brooke Bond.
The name's Bond. Premium Bond.
The name's Bond, Basildon Bond, and I have the CCTV camera recordings with all the evidence.
Attention. This recording self-destruct. 10,
But I don't want it.
6,
Here, take it. Catch!
A little shaken and stirred, Mr. Mo.
Please note that no animals were harmed in the production of this scene.
Well, Mr. Man, it seems that your evidence went up in smoke.
Yes, my love.
I hope your next witness is more convincing and less dangerous.
Yes, my lord. I wish to call Red Riding Hood.
Calling Red Riding Hood!
Calling Red Riding Hood!
You with the hoodie, come over here! I've got the new iPhone 11. Just kidding.
Very funny. I thought this was gonna be so boring. But look at all these people. It's like the X Factor.
Miss Hood.
Hey, we should get a selfie with the judge. He's supposed to be famous.
Miss Hood, have some respect, please. You're in a court of law.
Whatever.
Remove that phone from Miss Hood.
And the headphones. That wouldn't have happened on the X Factor.
Miss Hood, could you please tell the court what had happened on the day you traveled through the woods to visit your grandma?
Are you ready for this?
My mother said I never should stray from the footpath
following this?
At Granny's house, it wasn't good. She didn't look like Granny should. Her nose was huge and her ears had grown. And she had built some muscle tone. She said, "How very nice to see you, dear." I knew her voice was insincere. The situation was by now quite clear. I said, "Granny, I'm getting out of here." Oh. Basket and Red Hood, make sure that you're good. Don't talk to strangers, particularly wolves. Don't listen to lies, it's not very wise. Just keep to the path, go straight through the woods. Basket and Red Hood, make sure that you're good. Don't talk to strangers, particularly wolves. Don't listen to lies, it's not very wise. Just keep to the path, go straight through the woods. Laters, I'll WhatsApp when I get my phone back. Bye.
So, Miss Hood, you like your phone?
Yeah, I don't go anywhere without it. Need to stay in touch with the girls.
Miss Hood, why did you wander off the path if you had so far to go?
Weren't you listening? I told the court why. Because you lured me off the path to pick flowers.
Ah, but we both know that is not true.
It is true. Why else would I leave the path?
Miss Hood, were you texting on your way to Grandma's?
Yeah, why not? It was a long walk.
I put it to you, Miss Hood, that you didn't wander off the path because you were lured by me, but because you were too preoccupied with your phone to watch where you were going. You simply got lost. You are just a naughty girl who tells lies.
Oh, am I?
Miss Hood, I would like to turn your attention to Grandma's cottage. Bring on Exhibit A.
Ah! Exhibit A!
Miss Hood, could you identify this garment for me? Please, take your time. You must be sure.
Yeah, it's my grandma's nightie.
Are you quite sure?
Of course I'm sure. Do you think I'm stupid?
Then, Miss Hood, could you explain to the jury how I could possibly fit into it?
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Wolf is tricking Miss Hood. He's deliberately, I don't even know what that word means, but he has shrunk that garment.
Overruled, Mr. Case. This is a nightie from Primark. No chance of shrinking.
Miss Hood, it's no use continuing with this fairy story. You have a good imagination, I'll give you that. But there was no one at Grandma's cottage when you got there. Was there?
Miss Hood, please answer the question. Can't remember it.
Then I'll ask again. Was there anyone at Grandma's cottage when you got there?
No, she just disappeared because he'd eaten her. Science and court! Science and court! I said science and court!
Your Honor, I think we could shed some light on the matter. It would be helpful because there's not much light in this court.
Go ahead.
I've just been informed that we have finally found Miss Hood's poor, defenseless, and somehow traumatized granny, and she's well enough to speak to us in court.
Very well. Ask her to take the stand.
Calling Granny Hood.
I think you're gonna have to shout way louder than that.
Perhaps I should go and help her into the courtroom?
I don't think so. Here she comes.
Mistake? I called for Granny Hood. No offense, you don't look like her.
It's me.
If you say so. Miss Hood, tell us that you were expecting a visit from her last Wednesday?
I was.
I believe that you were very sick in bed, alone in the forest, waiting for your granddaughter to bring you a basket of food.
Well, not exactly. You see, my granddaughter was in fact returning something she had borrowed from me.
Indeed, what would that be?
My iPhone.
Which model?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll ask you that later. But that's still confusing. Miss Hope told us that you were not at home when she arrived at your cottage. Had you been driven screaming from your sick bed by a ravenous wolf howling at your door?
Well, thankfully, no. I was not in bed because I was quite well. I'd gone out to take my dance class, which I do every Wednesday, because I'm a dance teacher.
Dance class? Your granddaughter could really use that. Does Miss Hope know about your job?
Of course she does. She's just trying to keep my phone as long as possible. You see, she had broken hers, and I foolishly said that she could borrow my old one for a little while. But I need it back now. I'm having a real hard time getting it back from her.
No further questions.
Thank you, Granny Hood. You're excused.
Is that my phone? At last.
Your Honor, I would now like to call my final witness to give evidence.
Calling the 3 little pigs. Calling the 3 fickled kids. Calling the 3 tickled wigs. Calling the pickled kids.
Mr. Mann, is this in any respect of the 3 counts of willful damage and illegal entry into the properties of the 3 little pigs?
Yes, my lord.
How many pigs did you say?
Oh, yes. It's the 3 little pigs and their families. Little pigs, could you tell the court about what Mr. Wolf said to you and how frightening he was?
This little house is just a haystack. This little house a bunch of sticks. But this one's more substantial, made of good red London bricks. But if you think they'll save your bacon, you are very much mistaken. I'm gonna blow your little house down. My lungs are quite an asset. I've never known them to fail. From a gentle breeze to a hurricane, I can bump the Buford scale. So get ready for eviction and prepare for demolition. I'm gonna blow your little house down. Little pigs, let me in. I'll talk and compromise and leave 3 houses standing for a trio of pork pies. Little pigs, let me in. And here's the reason why. The only way you'll skip your fate is if 3 piggies fly. This little house is just a haystack. This little house a bunch of sticks. But this one's more substantial, made of good red London bricks. But if you think they'll save your bacon, you are very much mistaken. I'm gonna blow. I'm gonna blow. Blow your little house down. Yeah.
What a very interesting song, ladies. Are you quite sure that this is what Mr. Wolf said to you?
Yeah, duh.
A trio of pork pies indeed.
You can say what you like. We are out to save her.
big?
Yes, my family can't sleep all night whenever the wind blows because they think it's the wolf.
I'm surprised your house's straws ever stayed up on a windy day. Are you sure it was a wolf who blew your house down?
Oh yes, we found the wolf puff and puff.
Yes, we've done all that. Now the jury will be getting bored. Let us instead consider the houses in question. I'm sure what the jury would really like to know is, number 1, did your houses have foundations? Number 2, did your houses have building regulations? And most importantly, number 3, did your houses have planning permission?
Where did that come from? Do you know?
I think I know. That was thunder. So now the squeaker squeal. So you've told the court how worried you were about your families, but you've exposed them to great risk by living in dangerous properties.
Nonsense. Our homes were quite safe.
Excuse me? Didn't you just tell us that Mr. Wolf blew your house down? Is that a safe house? So you've obviously all met Mr. Wolf because you've accused him of blowing your houses down.
No.
All wolves look the same to me.
Only in nightmares.
How strange. A moment ago you were sure you knew him. I think you might be telling a few porky pies.
How rude. Objection, Your Honor.
I know.
Sustained.
So you don't remember your meeting with the Forest Planning Authority?
No.
May I interject here?
Please do. The pigs seem to be changing their story, and we're getting nowhere.
Mr. Wolf, do you deny that you destroyed the dwellings of the 3 little pigs?
I do not deny it.
He doesn't deny it! He doesn't deny it! I just said that! I forgot. I can't believe he admitted it.
I've kept quiet about that one. They couldn't prove anything.
Silence in court!
He does not deny it.
Indeed, he does not deny it. For he was working under the Forest Planning Authority to remove 3 terrible houses in Almere. The pigs did not have planning permission, and their huff and puff story is just a devious plot to discredit Mr. Wolf's reputation. Please observe Exhibit B.
Outrageous! Anyone could have forged Exhibit B. I demand to see some evidence.
That can be arranged. I would like to call the Forest Planning Inspector. What? Calling Inspector Green!
Not the Forest Planning Inspector! Yikes! Last year she got Granny Nuts in trouble for burning her nuts at Fableton Park.
If you don't mind, the inspector is here.
Morning, Squirrel. Got new glasses?
Inspector Green, could you explain how Mr. Wolf came to be working for the Forest Planning Authority?
Yes. Mr. Wolf patrols the remote areas of the forest and mountains. He works as a scout and reports any problems he finds.
So how did he come to destroy the houses of the 3 little pigs?
Mr. Wolf discovered that the pigs had built their houses without planning permission. We ordered the demolition of their houses, and Mr. Wolf arranged it.
Inspector Green, could you tell the court about how Mr. Wolf huffed and puffed and blew the houses down, frightening the pigs and their families in the most intimidating way?
Actually, it was the pigs who caused trouble. They refused to send their piglets to safety, and we had to call the forest police as the situation became nasty.
Thank you, Inspector. For further information, I think we should consult to the Forest Police. Calling. Oh, I think they're on their way.
Gentlemen, please state your names for the record, please.
Sergeant Trunk and Constable Twig of the Forest Police.
Thank you. Which division?
Special Branch.
And your dog?
Oh, yeah. He is my highly trained sniffer dog. He can beg, roll over, and give a paw. He is obedient to my every command.
Really? What's his name?
Bark.
Ho, ho,
No, I asked what your dog's name was.
Bark.
ho, ho.
Constable Twig, please stop showing off. We can clearly see your dog is very obedient. But what is his name?
Bark.
Ho, ho,
His name is Bark.
ho, ho.
What else would you call a police dog working for a special branch? Sid Bark.
Ho, I already am. Ho.
Sergeant Trunk, could you explain what you saw when you arrived at the scene of the disturbance?
Well, the area was a right mess. You could say it was a pigsty. The pigs refused to talk to Mr. Wolf and were lobbing things at him.
I imagine this was a perfectly natural reaction to getting threatened by a wolf.
Oh, no, sir. Mr. Wolf was keeping out of way as he had been hit several times with buckets of pig's milk.
Ho, ho. And didn't even half whiff.
So how were the houses eventually removed?
Well, it's a funny thing, really. The weather was very bad that day. Really windy, and the house of straw really did blow down.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. And the house of sticks was riddled with woodworm. We eventually persuaded the pigs to talk, but when we opened the front door, it disintegrated.
Oh, this is also convenient. And I suppose the House of Bricks just happened to demolish out of a squadron of masonry bees?
Now, that would be silly.
Well, surprise me.
We bulldozed it. Thank you, officers. I think we have the explanations we need. Mr. Mann, could you please make your closing statement before we recess for lunch? It seems some of us are feeling hungry.
Yes, my lord. Members of the jury, you have all seen for yourselves this wolf's cleverness and cunning. You may say that he has skillfully defended himself against all these stories and accusations. But I say, don't you think he is a bit too clever? Does he do nothing wrong? I don't think so. Many creatures are still afraid of him because he is a carnivore, a predator, and a threat to us all.
I'm fed up with porridge. But it's nice to have a picnic at least.
Hope you brought the honey.
Yup, nothing like a little bit of honey. Have you tried the marmalade sandwiches?
Yeah, they're so horrible. I don't watch Bennington season them.
Got the meal deal with extra pony nuts, some corn crackers,
Thanks.
and some wheat coleslaw.
Thanks, Quack.
What are you wearing? What, this? Oh, they had a new type of Corona promotion for a new type of cheese. So instead of mozzarella, I had mascarpone. Get it? Mascarpone? Stop, just open. Anybody? Can I have some?
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah. How's the piggy?
So far, Mr. Mann's evidence is more weightless than weightless. Flying over evidence right at the scope and started running the village with the Red Riding Hood and dragging her house. three charges are thrown out, and now there's only the fourth charge to answer. I quote that you have sought to terrorize and murder and will within the forest communities. That's what you was explained.
Stupid dog, that's my microphone, not a cat.
Leave it, Bart.
Thank you, highly trained sniffer dog. Isn't he? Cats tell an animal from a microphone.
He's a bit excitable today, but what with the trial and those other people having food there.
Please don't come near me. I'm not getting done.
Sir, I'd rather not.
That's a reason?
Sir, I'd rather not. Madame, please don't. Please don't. Sir, I'd rather. Can we touch you? He's on a highly trained sniffer dog working on a paleo diet. I apologize for the interruption. With live broadcasting, anything can happen.
Yes, that fluffy microphone will be on YouTube right tonight.
I understand that the recess is over and Mr. Wolf is about to get interviewed. So we will go straight back to the court.
The court is now in session.
Mr. Wolf, please begin your defense.
Your Honor, I would like to respond to the accusations that I am a carnivore and a predator.
Proceed.
I am a carnivore and a predator because I am a wolf. I am part of a natural process, like everyone else here. We are all part of a food chain, and it just happens to be that I am the top of the food chain. The prosecution don't seem to be liking this and are getting their briefs in a bit of a tangle. They need to chill out and lighten up a bit. Top of the food chain, Mr. Personality. Top of the food chain is the place I wanna be. Down in the forest I am eco VIP, 'cause I eat everyone and no one eats me. Top of the food chain, I've got authority. When I turn up, well, the other creatures flee. No use complaining, Mother Nature, she chose me. 'Cause I eat everyone and no one eats me. I don't expect your adulation for you to be like me. This song is for your education to see how I have come to be. Top of the food chain, Mr. Personality. Top of the food chain is the place I wanna be. Down in the forest I am eco VIP, 'cause I eat everyone and no one eats me. Take it away, guys.
Now plants, they are producers. They start our little seeds. We need these guys for to synthesize and make our forest green. Now once the whole thing started, the insects munch on leaves. Then the birds start looking to see what's cooking with a restaurant in our trees. Consumers, they are eaters, but do you know who's who? There's carnivores and herbivores, it depends on who you choose. And last I'm not forgetting, predator and prey. The difference is one chases, the other runs away.
Top of the food chain, Mr. Personality. Top of the food chain is the place I wanna be. Down in the forest I am eco VIP, 'cause I eat everyone and no one eats me. Key change.
Top of the food chain, I've got authority. When I turn up, well, the other creatures flee. No use complaining, Mother Nature, she chose me.
'Cause I eat everyone.
He eats everyone.
I eat
down with the bugs. But you have just made our case very easy. You've actually admitted that you eat everyone, and you're proud of it.
You're obviously not listening, Mr. Case. You have missed the point. Nature has given me permission. I am acting on highest authority. Don't you understand how a food chain works?
As I said, convicted by your own song. Mr. Case rests his case.
It seems that the prosecution is incapable of understanding evidence from animals, my lord. Perhaps they'll listen to their own kind, humans. Your Honor, I would like to call the naturalist. Calling the naturalist.
Calling the naturalists.
Calling the naturalists. Calling the naturalists.
I can't believe it. We got it right. Gentlemen, good afternoon, gentlemen. Before we get your expert opinions, we would like an account of your qualifications and your experience.
We're naturally the naturalists, zoologists and activists, ecologists and botanists from Kew. We study insectology, a little ornithology. We're clever 'cause we know a thing or two. We know the feeding habits of the lesser spotted bat, how long it takes a crocodile to grow. You ask a metamorphosis, we answer yes, of course it is. A fascinating subject, don't you know? We're naturally the naturalists, zoologists and activists, ecologists and botanists from Kew. We study insectology, a little ornithology. We're clever 'cause we know a thing or two. We waded through the Amazon and wallowed in the swamps and found some hidden species in Peru. In Africa, it was quite clear we had to visit Tanzania and follow the migration of the new. So we're making no apologies, we're studying the ologies. It's a job that someone has to do. Da-da-da-da-da!
Thank you, naturalists. There is no doubt in your scientific learning and experience.
Gentlemen, could you perhaps tell us why the wolf is endangered?
Yes, indeed, Canis lupus. Could you please explain for the benefit of the jury?
Canis lupus, the great wolf, of which, Madame, might I say, you're particularly fine specimen.
Excuse me? I never appreciate being called a specimen. Do you think I live in a zoo? How dare you? You'll be putting me in a jar next.
Dear me, no offense.
Mrs. Wolf, perhaps you are not familiar with the trial procedures? You're attacking your own defense witness.
Mr. Case?
Members of the jury, here's a perfect example of how aggressive and quick to anger the wolf
Mr.
is.
Case?
How dangerous and unpredictable they can be.
Mr. Case, please sit down. Perhaps you can continue with the evidence?
Alright. The grey wolf is endangered because of man. He may be at the top of the food chain, but he has been driven out of his natural habitat into extreme conditions. And in some regions, he has been completely exterminated.
Whoa, not true. You see him here in the forest, not in the wilderness, and certainly not exterminated.
Ah, yes. But that's because he's one of his kind left. He's able to live because he's resourceful, able to adapt in much harsher environments. He hunts prey, large and small, whatever he can survive.
Members of the jury, you heard it for yourselves. He hunts prey large and small, whatever he can survive on.
How dare you?
Yeah, he's... If they don't get a taste of the badgers,
Then I'm fine with that.
Silence in court!
I beg to differ. Your Honor, Mrs. Wolf is stressed and persecuted. Wolves are very family-oriented animals. They share tasks, care for their young, and even bring food to the very old wolves that are unable to walk. Mrs. Wolf is clearly very anxious for her family.
Yes, wolves are quite misunderstood. To illustrate our point, we need to ask the wolf family.
I think you better leave this one to me. A pack of hungry, ferocious, scary wolves about to take the stand. Calling the wolf family!
Aw, aren't they sweet?
Wolf family, the naturalists have suggested you share your feelings with the court.
Mountains looming, hunger ruling, lonely, freezing, here are pleading, a shadow on the moon. We howl an eerie tune. What's in a name that takes such blame? We're just misunderstood. Lands deserted, feared and hated, evil painted, lives are wasted. A shadow on the moon, we howl an eerie tune. What's in a name that takes such blame? We're just misunderstood. A villain of a fairy tale, the wicked beasts in folklore. Yellow, white, and ravaging, red in tooth and claw. Prowling in the darkness, haunting every lonely place. That's a wolf of fiction. It's not me. A shadow on the moon, we howl an eerie tune. What's in a name that takes such blame? We're just misunderstood. We're just misunderstood.
As you see, wolves have young cubs to support them because all the other wolf packs have died out. They're the only one left in our wilderness.
Oh, very good, Mr. Wolf. Using your own family for the sympathy vote. The emotional touch. But it doesn't take away the fact that you are a killer and a predator.
Your Honor, I would like to call my final witness. Mr. Mann, would you please take the witness stand?
Calling Mr. Mann, calling Mr. Mann, calling Mr. Mann, calling Mr. Mann.
Yes, I heard you. I'm already here. Your Honor, I must protest. How can I be a witness in Mr. Wolf's defense? This is preposterous. Is there a precedent for this?
One moment. Ah yes, here are several precedents. Squirrel, please share them with the court.
Past court cases where the prosecutor had been brought up to the witness stand. Number 1, Puss in Boots versus the Elves and the Shoemaker.
over the purchase of leather riding boots. Number 2, Rapunzel versus the Tower Witch for wrongful imprisonment. And finally, number 3, the case of Billy Goat's Gruff and the 40-year-old troll over obstructions of highways and inflated toll charges.
There you are, Mr. Mann, the precedents. Mr. Wolf, please continue.
Mr. Mann, I don't need to remind you that you are under oath.
Of course not. I'm a man of the law.
Good. Then perhaps you could tell the court what you had for breakfast this morning.
Your Honor, I object. What has it got to do with the trial?
Mr. Mann, please answer the question.
I had a bowl of muesli, then a fry-up.
A fry-up? I'm sorry. I'm only a wolf. An animal. Could you describe to me exactly what a fry-up is?
Well, tomatoes, mushrooms, eggs, and bacon and sausages.
I can't hear you. I didn't quite get those last 2 items.
Bacon and sausages.
Mr. Mann, please speak up. I can't
Bacon
hear
and
you.
sausages!
Well, who are you calling a carnivore? Do the 3 little pigs know of your eating habits?
I am not a carnivore. I'm an omnivore.
Oh yes, what does that mean?
It means that I have a mixed diet.
But you must admit that you eat meat. Mr. Mann, please answer the question.
Yes.
So, what else do you enjoy? A little bit of rabbit, venison. Oh, don't look so ashamed. I am sure there are other members in this court who enjoy the occasional mouse or squirrel. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Perhaps you and Mrs. Wolf would like to summarize the case for the defense?
Members of the jury, the point we are making is that all living creatures have to eat. The energy from the sun feeds us all by traveling through the food chains. And we all have a right to that energy, either through eating vegetation or by eating meat. But why should wolves be persecuted just because they are at the top of the food chain?
Yes, many other animals, including humans, eat meat. But they are not hated and feared as wolves are. How is a wolf any different to a snail munching on a leaf, a ladybird eating a green fly? We are all part of a natural process.
Wolves have suffered for too long at the hands of man, because man is more threatened by wolves than any other predator. But it is man who is the strongest creature at the top of the food chain, not wolves. Humankind needs to understand that we all have a part to play in our wild, and of course, the rhythm of life.
It's in the sounds of the forest, in the rustle of the leaves, in the creep of an insect, and the scattering of seeds. It's in the swoop of a swallow, and the heat of the sun, in the leap of a salmon, where the rivers run. It's in the dart of a minnow and the dust of a moth, the snuffle of a hedgehog and the bark of a fox. It's the rhythm of life. Feel the energy flow, surging through each forest, picture nature's greatest show. It's the rhythm of life. How can it be wrong? Hear the beat of the ecosystem, sing the wildest song. The wildest song. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Ah, do a kingfisher dive? Meow. Be a bee in a hive. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Try a bullfrog croak. Ribbit, ribbit, stand as still as an oak. the wildest song. The wildest rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. The wildest song. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. The wildest song.
Members of the jury, look at your evidence and examine your conscience. The fate of this wolf is in your hands. May we have your decision in the case against Mr. Wolf? The verdict is not guilty.
Can I have something with you before you leave? And can I have your autograph?
Never.
Why? Sophie? Darn it.
Well, what a sensational trial.
Yes, it was very difficult to know between the jury would go.
Hey, Mom! Do you mind? We're doing a live broadcast here.
I see they're behaving like animals.
Time for the usual dramatic dinner. We are going back to Favorite Town. Favorite Town has decided, and so the story ends. Maybe it was just a fairy tale, but perhaps there was something good among the arguments, jokes, and songs. What do you think?
Well, if you ask me, a pump and a water trap worked, but maybe it could have been better if we had a stone wishing well and some pink roses.
Finally, it's time we got everyone together. And it's time for the rhythm of life.
It's the rhythm of life. Feel the energy flow. Surging through each forest creature, nature's greatest shout. It's the rhythm of life. How can it be wrong? Hear the beats of the ecosystem, sing the wildest song. The wildest song. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life. Rhythm, 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 rhythm of life.
Thank you.